Hi, I'm Monica.
And I'm Dunya.
Welcome to Sip It, a podcast by SnaptureThis and CreatorClub focused on all things entrepreneurship and cafe culture. Co-hosted by besties and business owners Monica and Dunya.
This podcast will be where we chat all things Toronto, from the cafe and restaurant scene to entrepreneurship and small businesses. We'll be bringing on amazing business owners, influencers, and storytellers from all across Ontario to share their story.
We're recording from CreatorClub, a hub for big ideas, quality content, and impactful stories. The community of creatives is headquartered here in Toronto, connecting brands with a curated group of creators to produce content at scale.
Now it's time to grab a coffee
And sip it. Welcome back, everyone. We're back with another episode of Sip It, and we have Mohamed from Masrawy Egyptian Kitchen with us today. We are super honored and blessed to have you. We are super excited to chat about the restaurant industry, which we haven't tapped into too much. So I'm going to hand it over to you. Just introduce yourself, your business, and we'll run through a couple questions with you.
Absolutely. I'm so grateful that you guys are using this platform to showcase a lot of what's going on in the city. My name is Mohamed Saleh. I'm an Egyptian living in Canada, and I've opened a restaurant called Masrawy Egyptian Kitchen, located in Mississauga.
Amazing. So tell us a little bit, did you have a background in the kitchen industry, restaurant industry?
Not.
No?
No. So I'm a marketing graduate.
Okay.
Everything I studied, everything I know is marketing. My undergrad was business, and then I did my MBA in marketing. But growing up, oftentimes people ask, what got you into this industry? Or I remember just a long time ago, not anymore, there wasn't that many Egyptians, not even in our high school, where we lived, there wasn't as many as there are now. And I remember just always feeling subconsciously really cool when someone say, "Hey, where are you from?" I'd say Egyptian. Oh, that's so exotic at the time. I'm 40 years old now. That was a long time ago. But and then oftentimes friends who would come to our house or to our aunt's house or wherever, they would taste our food and they would just be like, "Where can I get this? This is so amazing. How come there's no restaurant I can go to, or there's no takeout?" And that always was in the back of my mind, because I find that oftentimes our culture is displayed over a meal. Mm-hmm. Egyptians are typically known to be very hospitable, very generous, very loving, and that usually comes you get to see that over a meal together.
Yeah, over food.
So that was probably in my subconscious the whole time, because till now I still don't know how I got here. And friends laugh all the time when they come into the restaurant. They're like, "I never thought you'd be a restaurant owner." But it was the best way, I feel, to display not only just our food, like I said, a little bit about how we are as people, our music, how we like to enjoy ourselves, just the loving nature. And hospitality is definitely how you display that.
And the ambiance in the restaurant really shows that as well. The
Thank you.
decor. Last time we went, my husband, he grew up in Egypt, and he was like, the fabrics you have, or
Yes,
the tents all
absolutely.
over Egypt have those
Absolutely,
fabrics. So
yes.
you really bring Egypt into the restaurant, which
Thanks.
is pretty
I'm
awesome.
really happy he noticed that, because that was done very cautiously and consciously. Tried to make one of the sides. I don't know if you've seen the all the lights dangling from the roof with the beams. I wanted to make that as if you're walking into the market, which there's a market in Egypt called Khan al-Khalili. Mm-hmm. And I wanted everyone to kind of just feel the rambunctiousness of the rowdiness as soon as you walk in, the bright lights, the bright colors. And then the side, which you guys sat in last time, was more of the calm. You're in an apartment building, you're in a tent of some sort in Egypt or in Alexandria, right? So there was the mix of both.
It's very cool.
Yeah.
Because that brings the marketing aspect of your skills. Which,
exactly.
Yeah, thank you. Yes.
Which is why your TikTok is banging, I guess.
Oh man, that's the funnest.
Yeah, so that's exactly what I was going to segue into. So that's how I found you. So I saw a couple of your TikToks, and they're freaking hilarious. They're so good.
Thank you. Shout out to New Age Influence, Yusuf. He manages that entirely.
It's amazing. You guys have done such a good job of bringing Middle Eastern culture to the platform, and it's not just you're not just showing the food. You talk about the culture, which is I find hilarious. I'm Lebanese, so
100%.
I think it's so good, and you've done such a good job of the marketing, and I'm sure you have a whole team behind you. So tell us a little bit about like how you guys blew up. Was there a certain video that like blew up? Was it a couple? Like what happened on TikTok?
I'll be honest with you. The best thing about our social media is it's very real. So when we sit down in the beginning, it was just, we used to do exaggerative videos of hospitality at Masrawy. So you'd see me like literally coming out from underneath the table. Did you like this? Did you like that? Did you try this? You got to try that. Like, or putting like someone's trying to eat, like an older gentleman was trying to eat, and I'd literally put the napkin there and like stuff that wouldn't happen in a restaurant, but you may feel like that based on how we try to treat you while you're there. So it was just real. I vent a lot on TikTok. I vent without saying it. So oftentimes people, our restaurant is a mediocre size. So people that walk in are sometimes very hangry and they don't want to wait and they want to eat. And so what we'll do is when we connected with May's Vault, for example, we did that hangry video, exaggerative, like she's, like an ambulance is bringing her in, and we're literally letting off what actually happens just in an exaggerative way. So that's been the best thing about the videos. It's very real. Our staff really have fun. Yeah. We can get into that after, which is probably the most important part of our success. Yeah. We like to have fun, so we like to just display that on camera.
It seems like you have like such a great team. Like,
yes.
Honestly, and they're all like, to me now, I'm like, these are like characters that are a part of like the business.
Absolutely.
And you follow them and you recognize them in different videos. And like,
they tell us that. Yeah.
It is. It's like a little show. Like, it's super cute, and you've done such a like amazing job behind it. So
there's lots of chemistry amongst the team members, which is awesome.
So we've been through a lot. You hit it right there. Like, we've been through a lot. Like, just being like, I'd say one of the first Egyptian restaurants that like does home cooked style Egyptian cuisine. A lot of it was risk. You come in the beginning 4 or 5 years ago, you might wait an hour to get a plate as we got the hang of it. Now we pride ourselves on being able to get you your food within 10 minutes, all fresh, which a lot of people are so wowed by because this is home cooked food, but we've done it in a way in the back of house, just very strategically, and all praise be to obviously God and for granting Masrawy with such an epic team. Like, they're always down to just continuously trying to improve. So when we display that through our marketing, we're not lying. Like, that's exactly how it is. Sometimes people say, like, how do you make a feta and have it on my plate within 10 minutes? Like, did you guys cook it today? And I'm like, it's fresh. It's literally just cooked. Yeah. And the staff pride themselves on doing that. So the back of house prides themselves on cooking it. The front of house prides themselves on serving it to you right away. The idea would be that as I'm taking your order and I'm getting your appetizers in, as soon as I've sent those in, while we're still talking, sometimes the appetizer will land on your table. And that's something that's super impressive, considering our cuisine takes a lot of effort. Which probably...
Yeah, if you talk about some of those meals, like if you make them at home, it takes like half a day, if not the whole day to make it. Like,
exactly.
They're not simple meals.
Exactly. And in the beginning, a lot of moms would be like, especially Egyptian moms would be like, why I can cook this at home. And I was like, I get it. And it's probably never going to taste as good as yours, tant. And that usually took the edge off. But you know what? Now you get to spend more time with your family, enjoying hopefully something that's just as good. And then, I'd like to proudly say, and 99% of the time they're like, wow, this is just the way we make it. Remind me to tell you some amazing moments. I'll tell you right now.
Yeah, go for it.
Some of the best moments I've ever had was like, someone would be eating. It actually happened, I think 2 summers ago, and it's happened multiple times. But one time I remember I approached a customer and I asked him, and I've said this in an interview before, but I said, how's your meal? And he kind of like looked away, and he kind of like told me like, come back later. Like he looked away, and he was like, and I'm like, oh my God, we must have messed up his meal. I did my rounds. Next thing you know, I think he walked in from the patio. He went inside, and then I met him by the door, and then he held me, and he was like, I'm really sorry about that. I was just having an emotional moment. And I was like, what happened? Is everything okay? And he was like, as I was biting into, he was having molokhia, which is like a mallow leaf soup, and hamam, which is squab, like pigeon, very like delicacies in Egypt. And it reminded him of someone very special in his life that used to make it for him. I think they're no longer here, but those are the memories that like really hit home. Like if it tasted as good and it reminded you of something that's very nostalgic for you, and I rush to the back of house and tell them this is what just happened. and everyone just like loves it. That's just what they're like, if we're not doing that, we don't want to do it.
Yeah.
If this is not the bang we're giving, we don't want to do it.
Well, we live for those moments.
Exactly.
That's what like keeps the team going and
Yeah.
keeps you doing what you're doing. And you know what? Sometimes the meal is not for the mom that makes better ملوخية. Maybe it's for someone who like misses home. Like for
Exactly.
me, as someone who like I grew up in the Middle East, obviously, and I'm away from my parents. Sometimes you just want the nostalgic, and you want to go to a restaurant that's serving authentic, classic dishes that you can't make at home,
And that
you
happens
miss.
a lot,
So
just like you.
Yeah.
That happens a lot. A lot of
it's super
students that are
special.
here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you have like the non-Egyptians that walk in and feel right at home, right? You have a place where whether you're Korean, Jamaican, Trinidadian, Chinese, wherever you're from, and we're so blessed to have that like that level of diversity where
Yeah.
we live, and they feel just at home. I pride myself personally, and I think my team prides themselves on being able to go very descriptive, ask people about their palate, tell them what to try, tell them what to leave for a second or third time. You know, we always want to win everybody's heart over the first time. So we'll go with safe bets, and then, you know, the second time we'll try even harder ones and or not harder, just different, you know, things that just is for the acquired taste.
yeah.
But either way, when we have like that level of communication with our people that walk into the restaurant, like you can't, because if someone doesn't like something, it's an immediate, here, let me replace that for you. It's not and I think that's a privilege now to be able to do that because of how busy it gets. So that is a privilege. I understand that now, and I'm very grateful for that, but that's how we're operating.
That's exactly how we felt. I mean, you hosted us amazingly, and we're so hospitable, and you went through the entire menu with us, even though you knew we were all like from the Middle East too. So it was just like you spent so much time even explaining things. So it's like you make people feel right at home. Like
Thank you.
truly.
And
From the
that's
second we
always
walked in.
been the case. Like even before, when I've come with like other team members from like volunteer work and stuff, anytime we've entered,
man, that's
it's always
amazing.
been great. Everyone always remembers you.
Yeah.
And anyone I speak to about Masrawy, they're always like, the owner's an awesome guy. Like he's
I
really
hope
nice.
I can live
And
up to that, honestly.
everyone has that opportunity to meet you. And a lot of times when you go into restaurants or anywhere where it does get very, very busy and like very successful,
Yes.
you often don't meet the owners, right?
Yes.
Whereas you're always there, you're always approaching us, you're always welcoming people, and that's really nice.
And my team's even better than me. Like legit, like now, one of the biggest compliments is sometimes when they walk in and they're like, they don't know who I am or they don't know who anyone is. They'll be like, I would love to, is so-and-so here? Will so-and-so be serving us? And that to me, I just get so happy because when they're actually recognizing, like you said, the team members or they have a connection with anybody from the team, it becomes like, I don't know, like Cheers or whatever those old shows used to be where like everyone feels at home.
Yeah.
So that's just amazing. And you're Lebanese.
Yeah.
I got a big wake-up call when I first started. I have never tasted Lebanese or Syrian molokhaya.
Okay.
So in the
I
beginning,
wasn't going to talk about
often.
I wasn't going to talk about this. You want to talk about it?
in the beginning, literally someone had ordered molokhaya, and I went and brought them the food, and they're like, "Sorry, what is this?" And I looked and I said, "Did you not order molokhaya?" She's like, "I did order molokhaya, but this is not molokhaya." So literally, I was wowed by the fact that even though a lot of items have similar names in the Middle East,
Yeah.
done completely different. When
Yeah.
I say feta, my feta is completely different than yours.
Yeah.
When molokhaya, completely different from yours. There's a lot that I could think of. Which
We won't
is,
talk about what's better.
No.
Okay. All right.
To be
we
honest
won't
with
get-
you, I just recently tried yours.
Really?
I love it.
Okay.
I recently tried yours. I
can't say the same,
It was
sorry.
actually, no.
I hate
no.
molokhaya, so I can't. I just
Molokhaya,
can't.
and that is one of the items when I say I leave it for a second or third time because of its texture.
It is. It's
But
an-
recently
yeah.
we've had a large group of people from Nigeria start coming. Little did I know, they have an item that's very similar. Molokhaya is a green mallow leaf soup. And what kind of, not is different about it is its texture, because the whole soup is
Slimy.
exactly the same texture as okra. So you really got to be ready for that. But once you're ready for it, then you accept that, then it could become your favorite meal.
Yeah, it's great. Love it.
Yes.
Our way. That's fine.
Point taken. Point taken.
No, but it is. It's nice to, I mean, I am Lebanese and I know a lot of different like cultures and foods,
Yeah.
but like it's nice to like go to an Egyptian restaurant or a Syrian restaurant and like try similar dishes, but like they're
100%.
made totally different. So
100%.
and they're like, I mean, for me, I don't know, like, I can name like 2 or 3 Egyptian restaurants in Ontario that I know, and I know the industry pretty well. So
Yeah.
it's
You got to give a big shout out to Mahaz. Mahaz.
huge shout out to
Amazing.
Mahaz.
Like, to be honest with you, I've had the privilege of meeting them maybe twice in my life. They broke the ceiling for an Egyptian restaurant to actually be noticed, Egyptian cuisine.
Yeah.
I think they primarily focus on breakfast brunch.
Yeah.
So it has been a privilege to kind of watch their journey and be alongside them. I very much try in every opportunity to shout them out, because when you open the door like that, and it's like, oh, okay, in the East End in downtown, we've tried Mahaz. Or if someone's at the restaurant and they're like, man, you know how far I came to get here, this food's amazing, are you ever gonna have anything on the East? I'm like, guys, if you like our food, you're gonna love Mahaz. And I'll say, like, go try Mahaz, you know, like, it's a beautiful thing.
It honestly, you just made me like emotional to hear that you would shout out another Egyptian restaurant.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
Oh, yeah.
that's huge. Like,
Yes.
it's
Truth is truth.
sometimes it's like the complete opposite, right? Like,
Yeah.
it's competition, and you don't put other people up, and it's really like, it's so touching that you just did that. So, like, huge shout out to you.
Beauty and like
And
lifting up one another, right? It's,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We believe, you know, like, especially religiously, I think all religions believe this, but like, what's yours is yours. It's written for you. That's not, you know, like, if we all actually work together, there are some cultures that really, you know, do that so well, and we could all learn from that.
Yeah.
But especially in Middle Eastern cuisine, not just them, there's also others that, you know, like, really, you know, paramount. They showed that, you know, you don't have to just go to McDonald's. There was a time where you couldn't go to a corner where there wasn't a Paramount, right?
Yeah.
Like, and you know, God bless Muhammad Fakih as well. Like, he showed the world, like, you can have a shawarma. It's not just a burger. And now if you go anywhere in the GTA, there's thousands of shawarma joints, right? Like,
well, it's just introducing people to Middle Eastern food.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And by doing that, you're also introducing them to the culture. And, like,
100%.
you know, we're not what the media displays of us.
Oh,
and
that was
like,
huge.
it's huge. So if people like the food, it's like a huge introduction to like a whole world. And like, I think like Mahaz is an example of like making like this trendy brunch spot that people will go line up like 2 hours
Absolutely.
to eat. Like,
yes. And they put everything into it. You know, like, and I pride ourselves on doing the same. Like, we put everything into it. We never once ever watched, again, this comes from a privileged perspective, but we never watched whether the money was going to come in. We just said, let's just do everything to the best of our ability. If that meant we had to squeeze the bank down to the nitty gritty, if that meant we had to squeeze our energy down to the nitty gritty, if we had to work overtime, I mean, and I'm sure they do the same, just to make sure you give exactly what you want, the representation you wanted.
Yeah.
Because I tell everyone, it's bigger than a restaurant. This is bigger than food. Mm-hmm. When you come into our restaurant, you will see a sheikh and a Muslim sheikh and a Coptic priest sitting tables away from each other, loving, kissing each other when they walk, greeting each other. This is huge. Yeah. This is where we show people the unity that we're supposed to have as a people. So I think that's one of the hugest things at Masrawy, especially for Egyptians.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Touching on culture and religion and all of that.
Yes.
Being Afghan Lebanese, we really wanted to highlight a Middle Eastern / Muslim business.
Yes.
Have you faced any challenges being an Egyptian Muslim restaurant? Any general business challenges? What are some
I have.
highlights? Yeah.
I have. I've faced some challenges by sometimes our own faith. Mm-hmm. Like, you know, groups from our own faith may have an opinion on some of our TikToks, some of our social media. And I have to be mindful. In the beginning, it was done just for the fun. And then you realize, oh, wait, as you get a big following, you have a responsibility. Yep. Mm-hmm. You are representing something that's bigger than you. From other religions, they would like more representation, you know? And I pride myself on our restaurant having literally, like, by the grace of God, you know, Allah just blessed us with a group of multicultural multicultural and multi-religions in the restaurant, like from our own team. And like, it's amazing. During Ramadan, our Coptic brothers and sisters that are working on the line, they'll take over while we break fast, and vice versa. During Easter, everyone gets the time off. We'll cover for them. During Christmas, we'll cover for them. So I have faced problems, but I've faced a lot more blessings than I have problems. Like, the problems don't even, you face them in a way where you learn from them. You accept what you want to accept. If you're convinced, you also have like your own personal upbringing too. Like, I know that I have to do right by my Creator, and I try to do that in the best way possible through love. So whatever fits in that will fit in that, and whatever doesn't fit in that.
You're such an inspiration. Honestly,
No,
I could listen to you talk for like hours. Like,
No.
you should do more of these, honestly, because
I appreciate that.
I love
a
the
lot.
positive energy. It's also
yes.
encouraging to others who might feel hesitant to do similar work, right?
Yeah.
Or to highlight their own cultures. Oftentimes we're held back because of, like Monica said, media interpretation and all of that.
Yeah.
So having a positive individual who's killing it's really nice to see and encourages
and we
people.
always talk about it. Are we a trend? Are we going to be cool for just a little bit, and then the people will move on? Like, I told them, it doesn't matter as long as we give 150%. We can all go to sleep at night. We did it with the right intention. The niyyah.
exactly.
You did it with the right intention. If that's what God wishes for us, then that's what God wishes for us. But we will go to sleep at night saying comfortably whatever happens, because we gave it everything we got. Right? If you back down because you're afraid in the beginning, I actually have held back sometimes because I thought, what would this group think, or what would that group think, or like, is this gonna offend somebody? Is this attire that I'm wearing? It does happen, but at the end of the day, I'm like, what's my intention? What is the delivery? And if there is a problem, I can fix it. Yeah.
All right. Segueing a little bit different.
Love it. Let's do it.
What are some dreams or new projects that you have in the works that you might want to share, or some dream partnerships that you would love to have?
Oh, man. So I'm going to continuously try to bring a lot of what people want to see. So when we did Mais Vault and Mama Wafat, shout out to them, by the way. When we brought them over from New York at the time, she's now married and she's in Dubai. Amazing. But she, if people don't know her, she's very famous on TikTok. She's a comedian. She's a content creator. Her husband Max is a supremely successful real estate man. But that's just an example of, it had nothing to do with the restaurant, but the culture wanted it. So as a restaurant, we were able to provide the space for it, and it still stayed within the theme of like Egyptian culture. So whether you're Egyptian or not, if you're following Mais Vault or Mama Wafat, that was one of the things we wanted to do was bring them. We have a lot more on the way. Artists, we like to sponsor a lot of artists, whether they are actual physically drawing, painting artists, whether they're musicians. There's a lot, there's a lot of people coming out of our country that get a lot of representation in Egypt with a big following here, but it's like, I wish I could hear them sing. I wish I could hear that comedian speak. I wish I could hear that, whatever the case may be. So we're going to really be focusing on just supporting the culture in that way. Can
you drop any names?
No, they're not. I can't because they're not finished, but they are in the works. And if anybody has any suggestions, if anyone's listening, always shout out on our Instagram who you want to see, who you want us to bring, which collaborations you want us to do, and we're very down to do it.
Awesome.
Yeah, in terms of like growth, we just expanded our restaurant a little bit. We're just waiting on a couple of things to finalize. And we're working very locally right now in our one location. It's become kind of like like a destination point, which has something really beautiful in it. Oftentimes if you spread too quick, and I've noticed that and I've watched my peers do that. If you spread yourself too quick, then because our stuff is very home cooked, you don't want to risk someone saying, by the way, the Masrawy in, for example, Markham doesn't taste as good as the one in Mississauga. The one in, we tried it, they opened up in this city and it's not like the original one. You don't want to do that. You want to make sure that you stay true to to what you wanted to do from the beginning.
Yeah.
So we're really expanding within our own plaza. So there's more to come there. And we're offering almost double the menu very soon.
Amazing.
So, and in both desserts and drinks and everything. So we're just continuously perfecting the pillars of Masrawy for now.
It's been really cool watching you grow, both on like TikTok and in person. When we went, it was packed, like fully packed, and like you get people seated like as quickly as you can. Like your customer service is amazing.
Thank you.
The food was great. Like everything
Thank you.
about it was like a really special experience. So we hope that people tuning in will go visit you.
Yes.
We appreciate you coming on today and spending some time with us and getting
you.
to know more about the business and yourself. And if you want, plug in your Instagram, your TikTok,
Absolutely.
your
Address.
location, all of it.
We're 2275 Britannia Road West. It's Air Mills in Britannia in Mississauga, Ontario. And the TikTok is Masrawy Kitchen. The Instagram is Masrawy_kitchen. Talk to us. Tell us how you feel. Tell us what you want to see on the menu. We get blessed so often. You know, a lot of people say, "Can you open up here?" Like all the way from Switzerland to even in Egypt. Some of them some people like that flew out in Egypt were recognized from the team recently. Actually, our manager was there.
Amazing.
Yeah, so it just any kind of good vibes you think we can bring to the community in general, shout us out, message us, DM us, and we just want to make good things happen.
Amazing. Inshallah, you keep growing, and
Inshallah.
we wish you honestly all the best and appreciate you spending some time with us today. So thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you. I'm super grateful for the opportunity. You guys are awesome.
Thank
like
you.
giving us a chance to just even speak like this and
We're
represent.
honored.
This is
We're
amazing.
honored.
No,
You
guys
inspire
are awesome.
us to keep going,
I'm just as
honestly.
inspired. I love this part. I love just speaking in the microphone is good. But thank you very much. I
Thank
appreciate
you.
you. God bless you.
Thank you for listening to Sip It. Make sure to stay tuned for next week's episode. Subscribe, follow, and leave us a comment on who you'd like to see us bring on in the future. See you next week.
Sip It is produced by Creator Club Downtown Toronto. Fellow entrepreneurs, if you're thinking of starting a show of your own, Creator Club offers a super simple, scalable process to create high-quality content, access to talent, and a fully equipped studio to record your content. Be sure to connect with the team at creatorclubstudios.com and follow at Creator Club Studios on Instagram for more.